Planning and Zoning. I call to order the July 8th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Jeff here.
Michael here.
Lynn here.
Daryl here.
Melissa here. And Amanda hopefully will be here shortly. You stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Everybody read tonight's agenda?
Yeah.
Is there anything that's different from that? No. May I have a motion, please?
Pretty darn short. I move that we accept the agenda for Wednesday, July 8th of 2026.
Second.
Motion by Daryl, second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of June 24th, 2026. Has everybody read them? Jeff?
Yes.
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 Anybody have any changes or corrections?
No, ma'am.
No.
No?
No.
No, neither do I. May I have a motion, please? To accept them.
Second.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of June 24th, 2026, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 24th, 2026.
I'll second it.
Motion by Michael, second by Daryl. All in favor?
Aye.
Michael? Huh? Your mic on?
No, yours isn't
Oh,
on.
okay, sorry.
Yours.
With that, is Matt joining us tonight?
Yes, he's online.
Hi, Matt.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It gets over.
I know, I'm going back. I just asked if he was here.
Mhm.
Declaration of conflicts of interest. Anybody?
No.
No,
No
Yeah.
conflicts, but I may have to cut it short depending on how long we go. I can only go until about 6:15, 6:20.
You got 40 minutes. We should be good. Hopefully, we'll go fast.
Okay.
Public comment? There is nobody here in Addison. Anybody on Zoom?
No one online.
Closed public comment, special presentations, we have none. Design review and land use public hearings. Matt,
Yep.
discussion direction items, Minturn forward.
All right. So I can provide a brief introduction to what's in front of you this evening. What you have is the remaining sections of Article 1. So there's the purpose statements, and these are the general purpose statements for the entire land use code, trying to explain why the code exists. And then there's the legal non-conforming use, structure, and lots section, and also included that that's not in the title, but it's a component that we added, our legal non-conforming site features, which could include landscaping, exterior lighting, things like that. And then the last section that's in front of you tonight is a whole new section of the code that deals with improvements agreements. And typically improvements agreements are required for public improvements. So if somebody has to build roads or water or sewer mains to serve their subdivision or their development, the improvements agreement is an important document to have because it provides some assurance to the town that those sorts of improvements are made. So if you guys want to go page by page like we've done in the past, happy to do that, or however you want to approach this.
Let's do page by page because there's not a lot of pages.
Okay.
A lot of them are blank, or crossed out. So we're going to start with page 10. Does anybody have anything on page 10?
I do not.
I do.
Okay.
As we're going down and we're discussing like number 3 and number 9, talking about the small town character and what want to keep that root in that environment. And then at night, it's talking about the division and supply of housing and Minturn that prioritizes full-time residents. Are we then specifically trying to say we're trying to keep that neighborly feel so that we don't have too many short-term rentals?
So in terms of purpose statement number 3, to preserve Minturn's unique small town character rooted in the town's built environment. So that's trying to get at, and I'll just back up quickly. The purpose statements in here are trying to explain essentially why these regulations that we've been working on exist. So if someone were to sue the town in the future and say, well, this is just some hokey made up regulation, a judge would potentially, and I'm not an attorney, so I'm speculating here, but a judge may look at the purpose statements and say, oh no, the town has a legitimate reason for this regulation existing, and it's kind of stated here in this purpose statement. So that's kind of the intent and why these purpose statements exist. And then in terms of number 3, what it's trying to say is that the character, a component of Minturn small town character is the just kind of the built features of the town. So the architectural character, the scale of buildings, things like that. That's trying to get that's what that statement's trying to get at. And that I think we've tried to, through a number of regulations, address that and try and preserve that character that people love about Minturn. And then in terms of the housing purpose statement, what that and that was worded based off of some of the language that's in the community plan. It largely mirrors, I think it's a goal or a recommendation in the community plan that talks about having different types of housing and really focusing on housing for full-time residents. So that's what that's trying to get at. And I think we've tried to, the town's community housing standards try to get at that trying to have housing at price points that folks can actually afford. And then through some of the changes we've made, tried to allow for different types of housing to be built in Minturn. And I would say, to your question about short-term rentals, this purpose statement would probably support a position that we're really not trying to be a town full of second homeowners. We're really trying to have folks who live here full time.
Well, like number 3, is that trying to get towards the idea that a neighborly feel within the town just by how the structures are, front yard, front door porches, and that kind of idea?
Yeah.
We don't
Yep.
say that, but is that what we're trying to get at?
Yeah, and it's in creating these purpose statements, some of these, especially when you're talking about small town character, it's a little challenging to, a neighborly feel, small town character, all those are somewhat subjective terms. They may mean different things to different people. So what we were trying to say in that third bullet point is that the character of development and the development patterns in town and things like that is what is part of what makes Minturn, and we're trying to preserve and enhance that part of the town, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that number 9, now I understand what you're saying there. Is there anything within this that we have said, short-term rentals are not preferred?
No.
No. Can we say that anytime?
If you want to make that recommendation, you could. The zoning chapter that we went through has a table of uses that has different residential uses allowed. The short-term rental piece is a, license process through the town. There's a permit system.
We have a licensed system that we could work with.
Yeah.
Why I keep bringing this up is that all over town, Taylor, Pine Street, Boulder Street, even down at far in the town. A lot of folks are working folks, and then they'll have a short-term rental next to them where it's like an Airbnb, so, and they come up here for a party. And I understand that, but they're up till 2 o'clock in the morning, making lots of noise, having fun. That's not fair for the neighbors. So that's what a complaint about short-term rentals that I'm hearing all over town. That's why I'm suggesting, do we have a way, if we can do it with the licensing and
Our
permit?
licensing is already fairly restrictive. We limit it to 50 units or 10% of the housing stock, whichever is most restrictive. At any given time, we have between 20 and 25 licenses, so we've never approached, as far as I'm aware, we've never approached our cap.
Hmm.
If every short-term rental, I believe, is supposed to have the contact info of the property manager readily available. The property manager has to live within so many miles
Mhm.
of the property, so they can adequately address or quickly address issues. But if people are partying till 2 a.m., people should call the sheriff's department. That is not something that is, oh, we should discourage short-term rental. We are already doing that by limiting our stock. We've never gotten close to that, and people just need to start calling the sheriff's department.
Okay, okay.
You know, and I guess the thing I would question is how many of those are really short-term rentals or just tenants that are having a party,
Right.
because owners probably aren't.
Or people who have a second home and they're
Cool.
coming up from Denver or from Orange.
And how do you identify that and enforce it?
Right.
That's hard.
I have a comment on that, Daryl.
Yeah.
Couple things. One, full disclosure, I have short-term rental. But I don't usually rent it much in the summer, in the winter. People don't hang out much, but I also live right next to short-term rentals, okay? And there's good things about living next to short-term rentals. And if there's a lot of parking, things are crazy, me, I just go knock on the door, tell them, shh, calm down. The best thing is they're leaving,
I like it.
you
I'm
know,
a big fan.
so that's all I have on that. Sometimes
Okay.
it's, you can have somebody that you don't like that's having parties all the time,
Mhm.
or you can have somebody that's there for 3 to 5 days, which is, in my opinion, easier to do.
Well, good, like,
And it's 11%.
Okay, guys, let's
Tax.
continue. Because that could
Okay.
be a whole nother discussion. We can go back and look at
Okay.
that code part.
Moving
So
on.
if there's, if you have something on page 10,
I
yes.
do. I
Yes.
have 3 little things. Paragraph 1, if you can change it around at the end, so it's intergovernmental agreements to which the town is a party. So it doesn't end with a to, because that offends me grammar wise. Number 7, regulate the division, use and development of land, comma, based on the community's vision, because otherwise it's land-based, and that's confusing. Paragraph 11, can we switch the last word so it's understandable and uniformly applied instead of applied uniformly?
So it's the same for everybody.
oh, good.
Okay,
Sometimes.
you have those, Madison?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Meanwhile, page 11 has nothing on it. It's all crossed off, so we can skip that. Page 12, anybody have anything? Yeah, I have nothing.
I do. In A1, prior to the adoption of or amendment to this chapter, make it of this chapter. B1, just in the interest of symmetry with B1C. In B1C, you have a court decision authorizing or prohibiting a use of land, a structure, a building, a site, a feature. Make it that way in B1. So under applicability, this section applies to any use of land, a structure, a building, a lot, or a site feature.
Melissa?
Yeah.
Do you have these written down?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I just
Can I
feel that?
do? Yeah,
Yes, that'd be so great.
cool.
It's been, I was just like, you're talking really fast and
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciate it, but I can't type that fast.
No,
Now I'm trying to give myself specific.
Slow down, lawyer lady.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no. Oh, yeah, no worries.
Just my weird sense of humor. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, and I talk too fast.
No.
I'm from the East Coast. Substantively, in B2, halfway down, it talks the use is established within 18 months from the effective date of this chapter. Doesn't that give people 18 months to create a non-conforming use?
No, I read that wrong myself in the beginning, because I made a note and I read that. And basically it says that he used approved by the town prior to, the key is approved by the town.
Where's the approved?
It-
Any use of land approved by the town prior to the adoption.
Cause I made a note on that at first and I was like, what, are you giving people 18 months?
Okay, right on.
No, because it says approved by the town.
Is that it?
I don't think that's
Yeah,
because then it says or any amendment. Well, yeah. Okay.
so this comes from the existing code, and I think the idea is that if the town approves, if you as an applicant get a land use approved, and then the day after the town changes the code and your land use that you just got approved is now non-conforming, you're still allowed to establish that land use within 18 months, and then it becomes a legal non-conforming use. If it doesn't say that clearly, we can tweak it, but that's sort of the gist.
Okay with it?
Fair enough.
We can talk about some,
Yeah, it is just.
make your note on there. Okay. Anybody else have anything on page 12? Jeff?
No, I can't top what's going on right now, so no. Well done.
Page 13? No?
I have something on page 13.
No.
I'm sorry. Page 13, middle of the page, alterations to legal non-conforming use. I did look back and Matt, this is pretty good notes right here. I did look into our wildfire thing that we just passed, Ordinance 3, Series 2026. And looking back as well as what we talked about, shed size and this and that at our last meeting. On page, basically what I'm saying is we need to keep in mind with some of this stuff that now that we passed the new wildfire resiliency code, that our definitions on section 18-17-20, we want to, make sure that that applies into this non-conforming section, as well as on the same ordinance 3/2026 that we just passed, the fire code, we'll call it. It's got a definition on 18-17-70 of an accessory structure. And I think that these definitions, as well as shed size, if Scott thinks that's a good idea, but I think these definitions and how the two specific sections that I just referenced add into this specific section, because we need to keep in mind, and we probably, it all sort of came up quick, this wildfire thing. I think that those two specific sections, somewhere we should add that into, alterations to legal non-conforming uses, as well as have the what an accessory structure is spelled out, and maybe a definition on sheds. But that's all go ahead, Scott. You look like you're to say something.
I think I'm following you. And I am working, I hate to say it, I'm almost done with Article 2 definitions, at least the rough draft of it. So
Yeah, those
what I
two.
hear you saying is that we need to make sure if we have an accessory dwelling unit that's coming out of the wildfire resiliency code, it needs to match up with.
Yeah, they have a definition for accessory structure, not dwelling.
Yeah,
Like a structure which is bigger than a shed is what it says. Over 120 square feet is a structure.
Yeah.
And in the structure, it states that it's other than a habitable building.
Mhm.
And then you also have on the first part, it talks about less than 120 square feet, which is quote what what we thought sheds were, but I also read that anything above 120 requires a building permit. So, you know, as you stated in our minutes, so I'm fine with that. I just think that we need to make sure, you know, some of these definitions and how this all non-conforming stuff mixes with our fire is something that we should look into.
Right.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Page 13, page 14. I have one thing, sort of a Melissa thing. When AI, unless otherwise stated in this subsection, a use is discontinued. Shouldn't it say if a use is discontinued for any reason?
Where are you?
A number one.
Page 1. I said AI.
You're on, okay, I'm on the wrong page, so I can.
What page are we on?
I think I see what you're saying.
Helen?
I think I see what you're saying. If a,
Use is discontinued for any reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all we need to do is add the word if.
yep,
Anybody else? Page 14?
No,
No. Okay. Page 15, anybody?
No.
Michael?
no.
Melissa? No?
15.
It is, I just have little stuff that I'll hand to Madison, and if you wanna do it, great.
Yeah.
Talking about commas and
Okay.
words moving around.
Page 16?
Oh, I'm a lawyer.
we have an editorial board. This is awesome.
Strong editorial.
All right.
Yes. Whew. She's gonna outline me though now. That's okay. Page 16?
No.
We're not paying her enough.
Huh?
We're not paying her enough.
Oh, yeah.
Zero is good.
She said zero's good, Jeff. Page 17.
Ooh, there's not much on that one.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Page 18. Page 19.
I only have one thing to say on page 19.
Uh-huh.
Is this the stuff that we discussed in regards to lights and all that stuff? And I think that staff and Matt did a good job putting that together. Because that's all I gotta say.
And that was my question in regards to the dark sky regs. Because it says legal non-conforming. A legal non-conforming feature on a property may continue to exist. And the dark sky regs, or the new lighting, we suggest that they're only gonna have 1 year to change them. So I couldn't read it that way in here.
Good point. Matt, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there was an amortization provision that we discussed in length that would require any illegal light that has never complied with the town's lighting standards to be replaced within 1 year. And I think at the staff level, there's been debate about whether or not enforcing that sort of thing is realistic. And I think where we landed, at least at the staff level, is to take that provision out. And I know we've debated it back and forth. We can put that back in here. But again, that only applies to light fixtures that have never complied with the town's lighting standards. If it's a light fixture that at one point in time did comply, and then the standards changed and it became non-compliant, then it's a legal non-conforming light fixture. But if it's never been legal, then it's that was kind of what that provision tried to get at.
I'm not worried about adding it back in or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that I saw exterior lighting legal non-conforming. And then over there, we were talking about if it was wrong, it had to be changed. I wanted to make sure we had that straightened out.
Yep. Does that make sense though? The illegal versus legal?
Jeff has his hand up.
Yes, I guess my question is, is it not, I don't know that it's in our purview as our board to decide whether something is enforceable or not. Really, I feel like if we're going to be subjective about looking at code as, is this an enforceable thing or not? Like there's a lot of criteria that goes into whether the town can enforce it or not, not the least of which is budgetary concerns, staffing. But that's not our job. Like, I feel like that's a town council and a town manager and a mayor's type decision. And I just feel like that's a slippery slope to back away from a code, something in the code, because we don't necessarily think that we have the bandwidth or whatever it is to enforce it. And I just think like I would prefer to put it back in, let the council consider whether it's enforceable or not and how to do that. And because I get it, it is a little heavy handed, but by the same token, if you're not going to enforce it, then why have it? And, I know that it's the two sides of whether or not, like if I never touch my house and I never do a renovation or have a reason to get a building permit for something that would trigger the need to have to conform, but it's also more like you could also take the side and say like, well, if you're real super neighborly and you care about how your town looks, you should maybe save up some money and go out and buy some new lights that conform so that our town starts to look more dark sky if that's what we're trying to go after, right? So I don't know. It's kind of you could get off on a tangent about it. But in short, I think we should keep the language and let the council decide.
So then there's this conflict with that. That's what I want to make sure. Okay.
I remember this conversation, Jeff. I think that we went back and forth on this a little bit, and I definitely used my house as an example that when I built my house and I had all my house and my lighting and everything approved, that yes, in regards to, if you want to try to make changes in the future, I think that should definitely be your choice. I think that enforcing someone like and coming out and telling me that I need to buy a lot of new lights, that my siding and everything is trimmed around my fixtures, I don't feel comfortable with that. But we've already, you and I, last time we talked about this, we both pretty much agreed to disagree on that, sort of. And I know how you feel, and I just stated how I feel, and
It's no problem having it in both places, according to Scott, the way it is.
It isn't.
We'll be moving it to this. It'll be removed from the place you.
And putting it in here. Okay.
Yeah, Michael, and I would go on the record as well as saying that I don't consider it's not even defined in our code. We don't have gas lanterns in our code. Like, I don't consider gas lanterns at all to even be close to a non-dark sky. I'm obviously not the person that puts the determination on it, but I don't consider gas lanterns. I think that they're like the most charming light you could have on your house. And, I wish I had them on my house. So I would go on the record as to say that I would certainly not call your gas lanterns non-conforming if something like this went into effect, because I would hate to have to see those go. That's for sure.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jeff, to your question or statement about putting it back in and ensuring that the town manager or the council make that determination. What Matt alluded to was internal discussion with the town manager included as to how realistic enforcement of going after illegal non-conforming lights are relative to budget, bandwidth, political will, those types of things. So it wasn't just Matt and Madison and I discussing that. It also involved Rob. But if the direction of Planning Commission is recommending that we put that back in and bring it to council and let them decide, then we just need that clarity of direction.
And just referencing Michael, my lights on my back, on my garage are angled down, but then they only go on if it's a motion censored, and then they go off within 30 seconds. So they're older, but they're not causing any issues because they go off and on. So there's all those little details and different types of lights around town that decisions might have to be made in the future.
Yeah.
My example of an offensive fixture that's reasonably new is I'm across the street from the house with the turret. Um,
Oh, yes,
um,
the duplex.
which is why I quit planning zoning the first time. But the turret house has a fixture that's a longer fixture with 4 lights that look almost fluorescent, that face straight out. And it is super bright into my kitchen in the middle of the night. If you're driving by at night, you can check.
Call Kevin. Yeah, look at it. Page 19 then, anybody else? Okay, page 20, anything?
I have nothing.
Page 21. Melissa, Michael?
Oh, yeah, I have something on page 21 actually. And I'm assuming that it's a possibility that this is just a deal that's already been made, but I have to ask the question just for a little clarity if staff knows the answer for this is where we're talking about
What
number 6. What we're talking about final plats for a property within the Battle Mountain retained parcels shall not be required to address off-site water system improvements. I just want to make sure, and like I said, this is potentially a deal we already made, but I know that there's been talk of potentially them getting a permit to pump from the Eagle River, potentially do some joint stuff with us. And I want to make sure that putting that specific wording in there isn't barring us from negotiating some financial deals in the future.
No.
Good answer.
This is a language that already exists and we've hopefully clarified it. But it pulled from the language that we added to the code as a result of the settlement agreement.
Good, just reads a little.
Can we-
That's why I had to ask.
But it just says the battle retained parcels. Can it say Battle Mountain?
No.
The average, no?
No,
Why not?
because we're not changing that because it's a legal term that was used in the settlement agreement and then found its
Ah.
way into the code.
So already have.
So that the average person will know what that is.
Well,
And our settlement
Business.
agreement probably overrides the specifics.
yeah, as long as Mike Sawyer and the folks at Battle understand what it is, then that's what we care
Yeah,
about.
so that's spelled out in the agreement, and this is saying the same as it was
Correct.
prior to us making the agreement.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall not be required to address off-site warrants improvements.
Because that's what, if you went to subsection 17.7.23,
17.7,
it's the part that's crossed out there.
yeah.
If you went to that in our current code, that's where it would effectively say that battle retained parcels are not required to address offsite water system improvements.
What is an off-site water improvement system? The river?
No, it's everything from water treatment plant, impact fees, all that stuff there. It basically said you're on your own.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Battle North,
Gotcha.
you're on your own.
Gotcha. That's what I thought, but I didn't. I was reading
Oh, so we're not requiring it because we're not offering it at this point.
at this point. Okay, page 22. Anybody? Melissa? Michael?
No,
I have one. E1. And relates to page 21, B1. There it says, an improvements agreement shall include, and it says an applicant shall warrant all landscaping, an applicant warrant all landscaping, or should it say an applicant shall warrant all landscaping?
Yeah, it needs a shower.
Yep.
Yeah.
It needs the shall.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, anything?
No, ma'am.
Page 23, anything, Jeff? Let's start with you.
Yeah, just
No,
go-
ma'am.
Okay, Michael?
nothing.
I have nothing.
I'll raise my hand if I have some.
No, jump at me because I'm reading, no, I'm teasing.
Just honk your horn.
Honk your horn, there you go. Town's choice.
You're on 23.
Page 23.
So just while we're going through this, Matt spent a lot of time and we did, working through this with him. This really doesn't exist in our code, but yet we have these major developments that each one of them has had a final plat and a subdivision improvement agreement and these types of things, but it's not codified. It's not in our code. So this really is a pretty important piece of work that Matt did to build this into our code. So anybody that wants to develop in our town again, they know what's expected of them. And it kind of sets the template for future improvement agreements and so on and so forth.
In the past, we have had discussion over the concern of who hires the engineer for different things. Do you remember that?
I thought that was relative.
Well,
only-
and in here, if you're reading most of this, it says who is. In 2B, it does not. It said the estimated cost for all public and private improvements itemized in the schedule of improvements shall be prepared by a professional engineer registered in the state of Colorado and including the following. Who chooses them?
The developer.
The applicant. So should we put that in there? Because in other places in here, it does say that.
Yeah, there's one place where it says that the cost estimates for improvements has to be prepared by an engineer retained by the applicant.
Yeah.
We can include that throughout here. The reason that isn't included everywhere is it felt like it was getting a little wordy, but we can certainly add that language if it's necessary to clarify.
I'm all for being consistent. Matt, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Is everybody on the commission okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Page 20 Thank you, Jeff. Page 24, nothing? Anybody?
Nothing.
No.
I have nothing. Page 25. Anybody?
I have nothing.
No, ma'am.
Page 26.
Nothing.
No.
Melissa? Page 20, Jeff? 26?
No, ma'am.
27? Start out, Jeff, please.
No.
Thank you.
No.
No.
I'm ahead of you guys. No.
Melissa? 28?
No.
No. No. Michael?
No.
No, ma'am. 28.
No.
No.
29?
No, ma'am.
No.
Goes to the town. No, I have an asterisk there. Melissa, would you do me a favor? Because I have an asterisk, but I don't know what I did.
Where are you?
On page 29.
Yeah.
L2, would you just read that and see if that reads okay?
To request an extension, an applicant must submit a written request to the town that explains justification for the request in accordance with the subsection. It's fine.
Thank you.
I think that's sort of similar to variances as well, right? Pretty much.
It's on.
I think if they need an extension, they submit one.
Yeah.
Okay, page 30, Jeff?
No, ma'am.
For me,
Nothing. And the next 31 we can skip. 32 we can skip. 33 we can skip. 34 we can skip. 35 has very little. It's down at the bottom of the page. Does anybody have anything?
No.
No.
no,
Page 36, anybody?
No.
no,
Page 37.
No.
no.
I have one question. C, enforcement. Staff is still working on the subsection. The draft of the subsection can be made available for review upon request by the planning commission. Once it is done being worked on, we will get that to review, correct?
What's the question? Sorry.
Well, it says we can request.
So, yeah, this is dealing with enforcement of violations of this code or chapter. The reason that language is in there, is it's kind of up to the planning commission whether or not you want us to bring a draft of that for you guys to look at, or just look at that once we pull together a final draft of the entire land use code.
That's what I'm saying. Will it eventually come before us?
Yes, it's just whether or not you guys want to see that as sort of a
Prior to the
standalone
final.
or
How does anybody feel
incorporated.
about that?
Good either way.
If it's the legal stuff,
Yeah, it's more of
I'm okay.
legal enforcement.
It's, from what he explained, it's,
I'm gonna make a big note to remember to read it when you bring it to us at the end, Matt.
well, yeah, if you're gonna give it to
Okay.
us, we're gonna take it.
Yes, I would like to read it, but it doesn't have to be prior to.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else got
Yep.
anything else?
On that?
I do not.
No.
With that, that section is done.
Well done.
The only thing we have left is definitions.
Yeah,
Whoa. Really?
yeah. Yeah, do you have thoughts on kind of next steps? I'm gonna try to wrap up the definitions. You and I and Madison probably need to spend some time with that over the next, I don't know, couple weeks. I'm gonna be out on vacation soon. When are you leaving?
I'm leaving August 17th and I won't be back till early September.
Okay. So I think that's the next thing we need to bring in front of you. Are we still planning to bring definitions in front of the planning commission, Matt?
Yeah, that was our plan. And I think, I mean, while we have you all, I mean, our hope is to try and do that in an expedited way and not wordsmith every definition. If that makes sense, because there's going to be dozens of terms and definitions, and we could spend half a year wordsmithing every definition. So I think our hope is to kind of try and approach that in a as efficient way as possible. And if you guys have any thoughts about that, would certainly welcome it. But that's kind of our hope is if there's things like this definition doesn't make any sense, or like a layperson wouldn't understand what you're talking about, that was sort of comment I think would be very beneficial. But for us as a group to wordsmith definitions, I think might be a bit counterproductive.
I think my biggest worry is we started this all with making it so that anybody could read it and understand it. And now that we're at the end, I think most of us will understand the definitions, but if there's something that pops up with somebody while you're reading them, just speak up.
I have two things on that, Matt. Yeah, when you're doing that, the stuff that I was commenting on tonight, I definitely would like to see those definitions as well as what Lynn's talking about. And then you're gonna love this one. Can somebody explain to me what wordsmithing means?
We're not gonna sit here and say, does this mean an and or but?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Like that's a bad example because those two.
No, like basically is everybody,
But the ends of the butts are really.
Right, they are very
important.
important,
Screwed us in the
but
past. Oh,
yeah, we're not gonna sit here and micromanage.
we're not gonna have 3 meetings on the
On the
definition.
I hope
definitions.
not.
Yeah, it's not going to
Or
be.
you
However,
can do things like Melissa's doing for Madison tonight and give them inter if it's
Yes.
under a but.
That would be very helpful.
But if it is a very specific thing that you feel is going to be confusing to the general public, then we want your opinion on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that we've pounded down a lot of it.
Okay.
So Michael,
Yeah, yes,
for
sir.
your reading pleasure, you can anticipate, we already have a definition for accessory building or structure. I don't know if we have a definition for shed, but yeah. We'll make sure that jives with what.
Accessory structure and the fire thing.
Yeah.
Sounds different in their explanation than accessory building, like building and structure. Like our definition of accessory buildings could quote be dwelling units, and their definition of accessory structure says other than habitable building. So that,
And it may be that that has to remain separate because it's part of the building regulation. It's not part of the zoning regulation.
so I'm just making
Yeah.
sure that we don't have 800 square foot sheds.
I hear you.
You know,
Yeah.
So, and that's part of the tricky part of this is you do have a building code and there may be different definitions in the building code than there are in this code. And those definitions only apply when you're dealing with the building code. And then the definitions that are going to be in the land use code only apply when you're dealing with the land use code. So there's a bit of nuance there. And I understand that can be very confusing. But I don't know that there's a way around that.
yeah, I'm already confused, but that's okay.
So say we allowed sheds to be 250 square feet, and that was defined in our code, in our zoning code. Well, the building code defines, requires building permits for sheds over 200 square feet. And so it's just like, well, the shed is 250 square feet, so, does that,
So the building code is different.
the building code is
than what we're
different.
looking
It
at.
has a whole different set of definitions, and we would like them to jive with each other, but it's not required.
Yeah,
Y'all are looking at it from a zoning standpoint, and then as long as what's approved at the zoning goes forward, what it's termed under the building permit is less important, if that makes sense.
And we have a definition that we're proposing for a shed and it gets at what we think a shed should be.
let's hear it.
So, well, no.
No, we're not gonna hear it.
Wait
You
for
know,
it.
You're gonna surprise me, Scott.
Well, I'm just saying, I think we've,
We're leaving for today, right? That's it.
hopefully we're heading in the right direction as far as definitions that people can
No,
understand.
I was just pointing out the difference.
Yes.
And I will say, any feedback that, hey, this doesn't make sense from a layperson's point of view is super, super helpful. I'm not trying to say it's not, but there will be some definitions that are written that way because we legally have to write it that way in order for it to be defensible. So an attorney will be able to interpret it, maybe not the layperson. We're definitely hoping to keep that, to a minimum. But there will be some of those definitions where we're just like, I know it sounds confusing, but we can't change the way that's written. So just keep that in mind.
So we're done with this part. Okay, town manager's report, July 2026. Has everybody had time to look at it? And are there any questions? Not that we can answer them, but perhaps they can write them down and get answers for us from the town manager.
I have one. In reference to the streetlights. How many lights are we talking here?
Hundreds.
Looks like a lot.
I didn't count them all. I started counting and then I thought, maybe someone has that figure already.
We're supposed to be a dark sky town.
46 and 47.
Do they go off in the middle of the night?
Oh, those are dark sky compliant lights.
Yeah, they're dark sky
Okay.
compliance. But I was just curious, how many, there's two different styles we're using here.
And I don't.
26 and
going
1.
in.
Where are we, then?
No, this is,
We do not have
this is suggested for the future, like they want to do the 100 watt first.
Okay,
Okay, so remember that.
okay.
We're on
And
page
it looks like most of them are along the highway
No.
And the bridge,
and the
Um,
and the bridge.
bridge.
Should we let Matt go while we're at it? Matt, are you still there?
Wait,
Thank
so
you, Matt.
Go home.
You're home, but would you like to leave us?
Bye, Matt.
I need to bounce off too, everybody.
Thank you,
All
Jeff.
right, see you.
Bye,
Thank you,
Jeff, thank
guys.
you.
All right,
Yeah.
good night.
Good night, Jeff.
Well, if you could touch base with the town manager,
And tell him what?
ask him
We'd like a little bit better explanation of how this is going to be installed.
how
I
many,
also went to the last council meeting and know that this may be put on hold for a little longer.
Okay.
yeah,
Because of some of the other bridge work that might need to be done on the older bridge they're working on now.
wait, yeah.
And that, this money's going there, so.
Yeah, like as far as lights go, I like the lights. I think the lights are good. I think at a certain point, if town is busier in 100 years from now, you're gonna want a light when you're walking down the sidewalk.
And none of us will be here.
It's all right.
Probably the wildlife won't eat it.
Like to be cremated and put into one of the lights so I can.
Light up the town.
I got that.
Bad joke, sorry.
The new one is composting human bodies. I'm thinking about that. So that
What?
I can, yeah, they can compost human bodies and then you can go put it on the mountain
Huh.
and keep nature happy. I don't
I have
know.
a newer one, but I'll tell you later.
I've heard one of water now, one of freezing, one of composting, and one of rocks. No, I don't want to hear that. Okay, anybody else have anything with this? The memorandum. I heard about this at the town meeting too. Does anybody have anything they want to ask a question? It is self-explanatory, correct?
It is.
Okay,
Probably missed that section.
It's on page 56. The memo that I put together regarding the fence.
Oh, is that?
I think collectively spent like 6
Oh,
hours.
no, I didn't. I noticed that.
Very expensive.
Technically, they're allowed to have that, right?
Yeah.
It's on their property, right?
On HOA property, yes.
I was confused because of what I heard at the meeting. I thought it was elsewhere than where it is. It seems.
Oh.
But I am.
No.
And with that,
It's there.
staff reports, managers report, planning commission comments, anybody? No. Future meetings, July 22nd.
I will not be available.
Will not be here either.
I won't be here either.
So I guess we will be canceling, well, wait, we will not. So Melissa won't be here, Daryl won't be here,
So I have 4 members.
and I might be late.
You might be late, that's fine.
Okay.
We need to start late, that's fine.
Okay.
But we're having a meeting, I have 2 applications.
I will.
Who's that leave? Me,
Lynn, Jeff, and Amanda.
me, Jeff and Amanda?
And Lynn.
Then
And we don't actually know if Jeff and Amanda will be here. We probably should check with them just in case. If one of them is gone, that's okay, right?
Yep. I can't have both of them be gone.
So if you happen to run into them, will you ask and I'll do the same? Okay,
this way we have exciting.
August
So an
12th,
interim application and then one other.
August 12th,
I'm available.
I'm here, Michael,
I believe I'm here.
I think it's free.
so we need to. Okay. With that, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda, meeting. Whatever, July.
Yeah.
I'll second whatever Mike said.
We're out of here.
Motion by Michael, second by Daryl, all in favor.
Thank you all.
Wow, that's like record time.
We're
You spoiled.
talking about a record time was like 20 minutes.